Good afternoon, welcome back to EuroCIS, the leading trade fair for retail technology. 37 different countries have had representatives travel to either exhibit or attend this event, such as the influence it has on innovation within the retail sector. I guess retail's going through some changing times, and core to that is understanding how we can reach new audiences, younger audiences, whether you call them millennials, centennials, Gen Z, Gen Y. They're just customers, aren't they? They're people that we should be reaching and should be influencing. With me to debate this, we've got Brian James from Citrix. Thank you very much for coming along. Glenn Koskela, the CTO at Fujitsu, and then giving us the voice of the younger audience, Callum Jones. I saw on Twitter this morning, we are 2 years away from millennials being 40 years old. So that just shows we shouldn't be talking millennials or centennials. Glenn, let's talk about how retailers need to appeal to these younger audiences. What are the challenges in connecting with, well, a younger audience, dare I say? How do retailers go about connecting with them?
So this before the real answer. Well, let's face it, I mean, they are used to technology being around them all the time, in every single daily function that they have. Then they have a very clear assumption that the retailer knows them. They know something about them. And they have an expectation that this knowledge is being used for their kind of to personalize their services or information delivered for them. And they are comfortable in living in that type of a sea of data and technologies and others, but the tricky piece is that they want to be in control. They want to dictate when and how they connect and what kind of a channels they use to do what. And the kind of a payback of that all is that although that is so tricky, it actually, when succeeds, is an extremely strong loyalty creation mechanism that couples the youngsters into the game of buying, and actually they will be shouting out to everybody else about their choices.
So Brian, I think we're all convinced there's a need to be connected. I mean, whatever the age, whatever the audience, you need to be connected with your customers. What are the innovations that are enabling that connectivity?
So I think when we look at the kind of data that we're getting now about the customers, how we're using that in the stores, how the systems, are able to call out to other sources of data. The store being connected is something that's crucial. And so we have technologies around always on, around being able to deeply analyze the information and the traffic that's coming out from the store, going to a head office or wherever, being able to secure them and give it resiliency. So if your store's offline in this modern world, you're not transacting. You're losing money. So what can we do to make that resiliency count, make sure you're always on? And then really being able to segment and work with the data which is flowing from the store to provide useful insights.
So, I mean, Callum, try to spotlight on you and how you're representing a pretty large demographic. I mean, what do you want from a retailer? Am I more likely to activate a sale from you through Snapchat, or is that just being really facetious? What do you really want?
I don't think it's a case of specific channels. I don't think it's a case of what's trending and what's happening in the market is going to stick forever. I think that there are three areas really for kind of the next generation of consumers. I think the first area is relevance. So give me as a customer an experience that is relevant to me. Now that can be in two different areas. That can be whether it's something that I would call a chore task. Now by chore task, I'm talking about online postage subscriptions. I'm talking about the way in which I consume multimedia, the way in which I pay for music and film. That for me is now something that is taken out every month or every week. And I need to be able to look at that and compartmentalise how I'm billed for services. Now can a retailer potentially give me an experience whereby I am buying something regularly and they can say, actually, we can take that out of your account regularly and you don't need to worry about that. You can just see that as a cost and I can understand where it's going out. Then there's the other side of kind of the relevance, and that's also about personalisation and giving me a really immersive experience. So when I want to interact with a brand and when I want to see those products, I get a full range and I can actually engage with the range and I can personalise. And then there's another area which is really, I think it's really important for retailers, but then kind of plays into both of those, and that is GDPR and data. I think that with GDPR, consumers, and especially amongst my generation, now know that we have a right to be forgotten. So if I want to turn communications off, I can just say I don't want to speak to that retailer anymore. So as a result, the kind of things that we're talking about here with that data, retailers need to take that data and need to understand those customers and actually say, this customer cares about this communication, they care about this angle, they want to be contacted at this frequency, and you need to tell them the right things at the right time in order to give them something that's really relevant to them. I know that a retailer understands the buying process, I know that the retailer sees me as a customer. So how does the retailer learn about what I'm likely to buy, how long that buying process lasts, and can they extend that to keep me coming back and to generate that loyalty through the interpretation of what I normally go for?
We've spoken a lot, Glenn, about how we need to bend for the customer, but technology needs to bend for the workforce, doesn't it? And surely the same changes that we're looking at for the younger and customer, the same consideration needs to be applied to the younger workforce?
It is. I mean, this was about making the sale easier on every journey path that there is in every step. The other element is that they also, of course, they also expect that the same technology is there for them to make use of, to make their own career successful and their kind of a work productive. So we have that element, we see that requirement in task management. So you have these actionable things happening in the store. It could be that something you see over there, there's a queue, okay, there's a technology, and I could be involved in that. There's a price override needed because a damage in the packaging of an item. I need to do a age verification. I need to go and empty the bottle machine. So how all that data is brought to me as an employee so that I can actually perform well in my job. And I don't want to kind of use traditional mechanisms on it because I know that the technology is available. That high pressure with new employees is coming into the stores every day, and they see that in churn. The people move to another retailer if they can't assimilate themselves to the culture that is there against their expectations.
We know at its core, Brian, retail is still a people industry, connecting the physical store with customers in many cases. How do we go about recruiting the best talent using technology? What's in play at the moment?
You've got to look at a lot of the same points that Glenn and Callum have just brought up, and treat the employees as you're going to treat a customer. You need to attract them. You need to make it an interesting place for them to work. You need to give them the ability to really excel at what they're good at, and you want to be employing people who excel at dealing with customers. There's lots of things that we all have to do in our day-to-day lives, which are like chore tasks, as Callum said. How can we take that away? How can we make that frictionless? How can we automate that away if it's all possible? And how can we really, make it so simple to do the kind of mundane things that have to be done, that people see that as, okay, yeah, that's a slice of my time, but I'm really here to add value to this customer's experience. That's going to make them feel, valued themselves. It's going to make them engaged, bought into, the productivity and the success of the store.
Fascinating. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Been hearing a lot today about frictionless technology, going into store, being able to seamlessly buy a product, not get caught at the checkout. It's the simple things that matter, and clearly technology has got a role to play in delighting and simplifying the buying process. Undoubtedly you're going to have questions about the content you've just seen. If you'd like us to put or connect you with Brian and Callum or Glenn, we can absolutely do that. Just drop us a note on social. There's still plenty more to come from EuroCIS 2019, more to come.